Now, the world is making a very slow progress towards closing the gender gap, and women will not be able to attain parity with men for another 131 years. According to the World Economic Forum's latest Global Gender Gap report, the overall gender gap measurement, which is a measurement of equality across economy, politics, health and education, closed by a mere 0.3 percentage points compared to last year. The global gender gap is now only 68.4% closed, and the world fares the worst when it comes to political empowerment of women and economic opportunities for them. Now, at this current rate of progress, we will take 162 years to close the political empowerment gender gap, 169 years for the economic participation and opportunity gap, and 16 years for the educational attainment gap. The time to close the health and survival gender gap, that remains undefined. Now, for the 14th year running, we have Iceland taking the top position. It also continues to be the only country in the world to have closed more than 90% of its gender gap. These top 10 countries also include 3 other Nordic countries. You have Nicaragua as well as Namibia on the list. Now, India has closed 64.3% of the overall gender gap and ranks 127th on the global index. It has improved by 1.4 percentage points from last year and 8 positions in ranking compared to 2022. But while India has attained parity in enrollment across all levels of education, it has reached only about 37% parity on economic participation and opportunity and barely 25% on political empowerment. Although currently, women represent more than 15% of parliamentarians, which is the highest for India since the inaugural 2006 edition of this report. Now, on the Health and Survival Index, India saw some improvement as well. But if you look at the rankings, India saw the biggest jump on educational attainment, but it slipped in political empowerment compared to other countries. We fare the worst when it comes to economic participation and health when we compare it to the rest of the world. But as far as work participation and leadership positions are concerned, India is very far from ideal. The share of women's membership in board positions stands at just over 17%. Only 1.8% of the firms have majority female ownership, and less than 9% have females as top managers. The share of women in the informal sector, as you can see, is also quite high. Overall, over the last decade, there's been insufficient progress in achieving parity, and the tepid progress was interrupted further by the pandemic, which highlights the need for renewed focus by both the governments and business leaders.